اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters, and welcome to the Book Review Podcast, edition number 3, episode 3, podcast 3, whatever or however you would like to title it. I am Abu Abdurrahman, and I'm very pleased to be joined by my dear beloved brother, Sahib, Staz, Sheikh, future inshallah, maybe Doctor as well if he wants to pursue that avenue, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. We hope he does. Farhan Bin Rafee, Ahmed, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As always, it's good to have you. Barakallah feek. It's good to have you with us live in the studio.
Always nice to be here, Habibi.
Alhamdulillah, another week has gone past, another book review podcast, but you can never get enough of books, can you?
I think I've dropped a lot this week. We got a new shipment, and I just...
Now, this is what I want to begin our podcast with in the near future. Just a quick update on anything new releases. Just quickly, no review, just what's come in that may be exciting at dsbooks.com.au.
Okay, it hasn't been put up on dsbooks.com.au, but the first time a good tahqiq of Irshad al-Sari, Sharh of Sahih al-Bukhari, has come up. It's a new print that's just been released.
For which Sheikh?
Irshad al-Sari is one of the commentaries of Sahih al-Bukhari. It's off the top of my head. It's skipping me right now.
No problem, we can come back to that inshallah.
Irshad al-Sari. But it's like, the thing is, I always wanted to buy a copy of this. But the thing is that the only print of it was the DKI print, and I'm not going to touch that. But subhanallah, if someone was gonna Qastillani, that's who Irshad al-Sari. So it's a classic. It's an older commentary. It's not a mu'asir, but it has some benefits in there that I've looked over for PDFs and stuff, and I looked into it in the Maktab of the Haram one time. But the only problem is the print was just horrible. It was horrible print. And then there's a new print that got released, but again, it was not a very good print by Al-Ghawthani. And then just now, maybe in the last 12 months, Dar ibn Hazm printed it, Ata'at al-Ilm. So that's a new book that's just come out. There's a whole bunch of really good stuff that's come recently, like a new print of Bidaya al-Nihaya from Dar ibn Kathir, a new print of As-Sira Nabawiyya from Ibn Kathir.
Is all in Arabic?
All in Arabic, yeah. You just got a Lebanese shipment. So, right now, that's what I'm getting together.
Alhamdulillah. Maybe you can give us an update in the upcoming weeks as well.
Inshallah.
Before you tell us of any new English releases, I'd like to welcome all our viewers, all our listeners on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live. If you would like to catch up on episode 1 and 2 of this podcast, you can go to the AlBayan Radio YouTube channel, AlBayan Radio Australia, and catch up there. Also, if you have any questions, as we know, our dear brother Farhan is a recent graduate of the Medina University and also lifelong working in the bookstore there at Dar es-Salaam. As we know, his father, our beloved Sheikh Rafee, had a bookstore. What was it now? 20 years in Lakemba now?
Yeah, easy.
And even before then,
in the corner and Lidcombe and
back home in India as well. He got
in
the library.
So he got into the books when he was in Medina. So it's funny stories. Honestly, we
have to start bringing them up.
Some good stories, like Mathalan, like he used to have, he used to buy books, and people used to come and buy it off him from people that were there.
That's how it started.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, I'll pay you slowly, and it started he had a very good inayah with some of his books.
So he has a vast experience in books. Any question you have regarding books and purchasing books, you can message us there on our various streams there, on the Facebook Live there, and also on our YouTube channel as well. Barakallah fikum. Any updates on anything new from the English side of things?
From the English side, it's things that are coming back. Look, because of COVID, things are all over the world. It's tough. But there are some new books that have come up. I don't want to say what they are. They're all available on thing. Yeah, people have to understand one thing, yeah. I may work in the shop. I may work at dsbooks.com.au, but I don't necessarily agree with everything that's there. You know what I mean? I can give my 2 cents in and say, boys, I don't think 1, 2, and 3 should be sold. And they'll usually listen, but I get overrided because apparently I'm staunch. too staunch sometimes. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I always get brothers like, brother, how are you selling this book?
Naam.
How are you selling this book? And then I get stuck in between. Like I work there. Okay, yep, it is a family business. I try my hardest to make sure, and I honestly, genuinely believe it is the best that we have in the West. In not like in our part of the world, I guess. You won't find a better range, especially in Arabic, bro. So much care goes into the Arabic, and even the reference books that we do keep. There are certain mashayikh that have problems with us selling certain books in Arabic even. Our Sheikh Abu Ayman, Hafidhullah, he always gets angry whenever he sees certain titles. But like we have to present certain things for the shabab over here to have reference books. You won't know what's in their books unless you read it.
Now, if you do see anything like anything, you advise, and that's what we do.
That's the thing.
I've done that before, as you know.
How many times? So and a beautiful thing about certain things is that I love my job in the sense where, like, for instance, someone will come and say, I want this book, right, from a deviant, mathalan, right? It's like, okay, we don't have this book, but we have something better.
You have to give them alternatives.
You have to give them, like, for instance, Fadail Amal. It's something in the subcontinent that's seen as Bukhari, but it's like the narrations in there, not just mawdu', straight, more than lies on the Prophet ﷺ, right? But if someone comes out and say, hey, do you have we don't have that, brother, but we do have something that's better, Riyadh al-Salihin.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Or like that someone will come with a book like, do you have this book on the heart, mathalan, of a certain person? Like, no, we don't, but we got Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah's disease of the heart, which is good. We got disease in the cure, Shaykh Ibn al-Qayyim. So it's like you really can shape a lot of the times. So alhamdulillah, DS books, they do have a very good policy in like straight deviants and straight people that really have, like, in their books there's things that are very, very problematic. In the book itself, they won't sell that. So alhamdulillah, I've got a few things taken off the shelf, like, boys, this is just not right. And they're very good with that. Like, if there's something like internally in the book, but if someone has like wishy-washy views outside but the book is good, they're okay with the book. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain there's pros and cons, and they have their reasoning, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them, but they do have very good genuine wants for promoting and preserving the sunnah. Like, there is like an actual policy that we've taken on recently of trying to make the cost as less as possible to promote these books of Ahl Sunnah now, of like good traditional Salafi, Athari, Quran, Sunnah, not like famous titles, no, like good things that you're going to benefit from. Try to make less on that to just promote it. The cheaper it is, the more easier it is. It's more accessible it becomes.
No.
So that's an actual policy that they recently have put on. So it's a good thing, mashallah.
Okay, after this brief introduction, let's get to our books for today. We've chosen 3. Where are we starting?
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start, Sheikh?
Let's start with relating to the prayer.
The prayer? Okay.
Since the prayer is, the pillar of Islam, the greatest pillar of Islam after belief.
Now the first thing that you're going to be held accountable
That's
Yawm
right,
al-Qiyamah. The one thing that people generally complain about is they don't feel their prayer. They don't feel, I pray, but like it doesn't make a difference.
No substance.
No substance in it. And what it should do, it should take you away from sin. Right? That's what the prayer is supposed to be doing for you. And so if there's a lack in your prayer, you're going to feel a spiritual effect. And we know the hadith that some people will pray and they won't get any rewards. They'll get, like, they won't be punished, but they won't get any rewards on them. So the wajib of their salah is still there. So isn't there, but they don't just get they don't get rewarded for their prayer. So the main book that we want to try to push people to read is a way to connect with your prayer. And the first book that we have is this book here by Sheikh Salih al-Munajjid, Hafidhahullah tabaraka wa ta'ala, Developing Khushu' in the Prayer. And it's also been published in, this is a UK print, this is Darus Sunnah. It's also been printed by another edition called 33 Ways in Developing Khushu', or 33 Ways to Connect with Your Prayer, or something like that. It's also been published, I believe, by IAPH as well. But this is the nicest one. Like, the pages are nice, the layout and the setup is really beautiful. The translation in this is really, really good. Darus Sunnah generally, solid.
Now, Sheikh al-Munajjid, Hafidhullah, he is the general supervisor of the famous Islam QA website that is
the lifesaver, the lifesaver of everyone.
And a form of the book is actually available there as well.
Yeah. So basically, it's 33 general tips on ways that what you can do to engage in your prayer, how to make your prayer more substantial, and it goes through some really just basic things like how to when you prepare yourself for prayer. Like I'm just going through some of the things in the table of contents. Preparing yourself for the prayer, remembering death while you're praying. Like it's very beautiful tips. Things like having the sutra, and then like in the introduction it goes through like what's khushu' aslan, and how do you differentiate between the khushu' of the believers and the khushu' of the munafiqeen. Some really important topics, and it goes through some really very, very important things, and I think it's been taught over here.
Yes, at the moment it's being taught to the sisters by our beloved Sheikh Jalal al-Shami, and he's actually taught it before on AlBayan Radio, and you can find it at our podcast channels. The whole book.
Finished?
Read the whole book and commented on it. So inshallah what we'll do, we'll share the link to the book as well for the whole series. Inshallah will be available very soon. I'll make sure it's there on the links for all these podcasts. So you can, for those who like to listen.
One of the benefits of this book is that the approach that he has is Quran, Sunnah, Aqwal of the Salaf.
How can you go wrong?
What else? Like you'll find, and I found like I was looking for other things, and it's a good thing to come back to because of the khushu' thing, right? Like I found some really beautiful statements of Shaykh al-Islam and Taymiyyah in here. I found some really, really like things that it's not just I don't want to say rehash of just ayat and just chunked together. No, it's good explanations, and it's very basic and easy to read. And why I really like these types of books now is it's 96 pages. You can finish this in 2-3 sittings. I know brothers who finished it in one sitting. 96 pages. Bro, it's locked down right now.
It's an overnighter.
There's brothers who it is. Or it's something that you can practice on to get quicker at reading. Because reading is a skill.
It's a light read as well.
It is a very light read. There are pages here that just have ayat and translations, and it's like 3/4 of the page is empty.
But you know what I liked about it?
Yeah.
Practical tips.
Very practical. It's like putting a sutra. So it teaches you the sunnah. You have to have something to pray towards. And what is the hikmah behind it? And so it's very, very practical tips. It's very nice, mashallah.
Eliminating distractions.
Yeah,
gives you a few tips
exactly. So it's a very good book on concentration in your prayer. And that is something that we all really need. And the way that's been presented, it's the easiest, straight to the point, no wishy-washy, like an 80-page introduction. It's 86 pages or 96 pages all up, including the table of contents. The introduction starts off at page 9, so you're actually at like 85.
It's a must-have for every library.
100%. And it's something that you can keep going on, because remember, it's one of those things that salah, we pray so many times, it's very easy to go up and down in. So this is like one of those books that you'll read maybe on a couple month basis, because you're just continuous. It's just, you won't even have to go through the entire thing. Just go through some ayat. Just pick it out. Just pick out the ayat.
Especially now in lockdown, you're at home.
Very easy
daily.
book to go through with your family. Very easy book to go through with another person, with your brothers, your sisters, your parents. And again, one of the beautiful things about this is that it's a short thing. Spread the sunnah. Just take one bit, write it up, and just put it up. See, you benefit the people. بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةٍ. It's something this is the type of stuff that you're supposed to be spreading. On like practical tips on how to help your brothers and sisters.
I'll give you a tip, or you probably know this already. You can just cut and paste from the book online. And share some tips, daily tips as well, which is excellent. That's an excellent idea.
It's something that if Sheikh Abdul Razzaq, he always talks about this in his lessons, especially in Da'wat Dawat one. He always mentions like, if you find a fa'idah, spread it.
Yeah. Spread
it. And the people are in need of this. And he says that if you look at social media, it's filled with other things, because we should be filling it with our things.
100%.
And so I really think that this is something that it's a really must-have for anyone to really go through, and just an easy, basic read for whatever level you're at. It's always a good reminder.
Alhamdulillah. Especially for Sheikh al-Munajjid, all his works, that those small works are beneficial,
very
authentic,
beneficial.
Quran, Sunnah, way of the Salaf, and the present day ulama, basically his way until now.
So yeah,
can't go wrong.
Developing khushu' and prayer.
Excellent book. Must have.
100%.
We'll provide the links for how to purchase it, and all the other links as well, and all the audio lessons regarding it as well. So That's excellent to have. That's a must-have. Put that as your a goal for this lockdown.
Yeah, and it's again because of how short it is. I reckon anyone can finish it very, very quickly.
Okay, where are we moving to now? That's one.
Okay, I reckon leave this to the last one.
That's gold.
That's what we want to get to. But okay, so I don't want anyone to be like thrown off by the name of this one.
Okay.
This book is good for any new Muslim or any Muslim who's coming back to the deen and just like knows nothing. People that wants to like just connect with the deen and start like, okay, let me get a basic understanding of everything. Like one book that tells you the basics of everything. It's called The New Muslim Guide. So this book here is basically, it goes through very important topics for every person to know. So it goes through Aqidah, your faith, basically, very, very not in too much detail. Wudu, prayer, fasting, zakah, hajj, financial transactions, the do's and don'ts. And then food and drink, halal, haram, like the basic etiquettes, dress code, family, moral character, and your new life. So yes, it's for the new Muslim, but a lot of Muslims are very heedless in these things.
What I liked about it, it's the illustrations in there are gold.
Very easy.
And it's an ideal refresher. We like to refresh our page sometimes. If the internet is not connecting well, press refresh for any Muslim.
It's really good.
And I underline the word any Muslim. You will benefit from it, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
And it's one of those things that a lot of people, they don't, each of these topics you can get a book for.
Can we just open it up and just give them a look inside? It's actually...
I want to, like the best part of it is the prayer one, right? Because it's got all the steps and like how to pray, the do's and don'ts. And it's like, can you offer congregational prayer and like how you can do it? And like people are wearing suits, they're not only wearing abayas in there.
That's nice. Not really, but anyway, it's another story. I'm not a suit guy.
I don't think I own one. But it's one of those things that it tells you the dua to say in transliteration as well. So if you don't read Arabic, it's there in English, come on. And it's got the translation as well, how to do it, the steps to it. I really think that this is, because look, each of these topics, again, we know that you can get a book on each of those topics.
100%.
So instead of getting, so you just get like thrown into the deep, and this is somewhere to a really good book to build on. New Muslim Guide, and honestly, it's one of those books that anyone can use. And it's been translated in multiple languages. We only have the English. But if you know a Muslim, for instance, I'm pretty sure you could get an online version. If you know a Muslim who's like Spanish, they've translated Italian. I'm pretty sure they would have had a Chinese one too.
For sure.
But it's one of those books that it's really good. It is published in Saudi Arabia, and we get it from Saudi Arabia. But it is one of those books that, mashallah, to give to a new Muslim and someone who's coming back to the deen, someone just wants a rehash of everything that they want to get up to speed with very quickly. It's, how many pages is this? It's
quite colourful as well.
Yeah,
the English is quite smooth.
255 pages.
Perfect.
255 pages. So as for the amount that it covers, I don't think there's a book like it. Allahu A'lam. I don't think there's a book like it. And there's iqbal. There's a lot of people do like give it out to new Muslims. It's
part
really
of gift packs for new Muslims as well.
Yeah. So I think this one is for, don't get just the new Muslim. If had they called it the Muslim Guide, it would have been perfect.
Allahu A'lam. I don't remember the introduction and the reason behind the naming, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were targeting.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the problem is with us in this country, and generally the West, is the more generations come, usually the more the deen is watered down.
And we just got a comment here as well from our tech team. There is an app and a website attached which are very good.
Oh yeah, it's got the QR codes at the back. Yep. It's got the QR codes at the back. I don't want to give it to them because they can now just put it out and then people just QR
probably.
coding it.
Allah Alam, I don't know. Can that be done?
If you can, then yeah, do it. Fine by me. But yeah, they
we'll
have
put the links there as well.
They have multiple languages. I wish I could read them, but they look Chinese, Japanese, probably Thai. I'm guessing Urdu, Hindi, and Bengali, and maybe another 4-5 languages. But we don't have them. We only have the English one. But I think this one, what I was saying, that generally with the generations, how it is, للأسف الشديد, but like it just happens like that. The deen gets watered down, right? And so we need books like this to just be like, yeah, bro, just connect back.
Got a question here. One of I think it's the sisters asking, is it available in PDF form? The New Muslim Guide. I'm not too sure.
We at DS Books, we don't provide any. We don't have any PDFs or anything like that. So we were talking about this previously. I remember. I don't know if we covered it online in the last lesson. Is that we try to support these businesses in the sense where we want to help them print out more.
I think they probably mean the mu'assasa. The actual book provider.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm not sure.
We'll share a link to the book anyway.
Yeah,
and
I'm
pretty sure it's online, and you can go from there.
It's pretty cheap in the sense where for a book that's color, pictures, and stuff like that, for I think $25, it's not too bad.
Our brother Mahmoud Al-Zabi says, Barakallah fikum.
Wa fikum barakallah.
Barakallah. Keep the comments coming, dear brothers and sisters.
Sheikh Mahmoud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect him. You know, he was the first brother that I had any meetings with when I went to Medina. He's the one that helped me when I went to the university. He took me into the to the meeting.
You never forget that.
I'll never forget. And he took me. We got into a taxi. Brother who just gave us a lift together. We went to one of the buildings, the dorms. He was with me through the whole first night.
Now the questioner, the sister may have meant the Sheikh Munajjid book, and we mentioned that it is available on the Islam QA website if you would like that, and he's provided that on his site. And the second book has a website attached to it. We'll provide the link for it as well. Moving on to something that I recently discovered, although I've known about it for years.
Serious?
But I didn't look into it until, Jazakallah khairan, you recommended it for me. And what can I say? I know I say this a lot. Absolute gold.
Straight out.
Underrated.
100%. In the English and in the Arabic, very underrated.
100%.
Very, very underrated. So it is the biography in the English is a biography of the Prophet of Islam in the light of the original sources and analytical study in 2 volumes by Dr. Sheikh Mehdi Rizqullah Ahmed. So there's a story behind this one, is that I think Jamiat al-Imam, one of the universities in Saudi, in Riyadh, or Jamiat Saud, one of the 2 universities that they have in Riyadh, they basically allowed the doctor, this teacher, a year and said, go research the seerah and give us a textbook. So the reasoning behind this, technically, was that they wanted to have a textbook that they could teach in the universities in accordance to Quran and Sunnah in the most authentic traditions. And basically, he has a really beautiful introduction of, he gives this gift as like to the students of knowledge, and it's a hadiyah to the students and stuff. It's really, really nice. But basically what he does is that he collects all of the early sources and gives you the sahih from them, and if there is something that's very obviously not sahih, he'll go through it in detail. This is $45 for 2 volumes. I think that's a bargain. Why? Is because for the same price, or maybe even more expensive, you get 1 volume of the sealed nectar, and this is double or triple times the amount of referencing than sealed nectar, and I reckon even accuracy.
Interesting.
I like this one here.
I think the aims behind both were quite different.
Very different. So this one, because it's a university type level, it's a university textbook. Because of we had this as a textbook. That was what we were supposed to read in Seerah for our semester in Medina, in University of Medina. For the semester that we had Seerah in the Arabic in the 2 volumes. That's what we had to go through, and we had to go through Seerah Nabawiyya Sahih Hadiya Akram Umari. Hectic book.
That's my favorite, but that's another story.
That's another story.
It's not translated from what we know.
Not translated. But this book here, so because people want to engage with the seerah, but the problem is that a lot of the old books of seerah, how they were written, Sirat ibn Hisham, ibn Ishaq, and if you look at all of the other, like the maghazis that come, they come and they gathered information, and they didn't necessarily take into point or see the importance, or sometimes they did. Certain authors had different lenses that they wrote in, but the sihha wasn't a very big thing. It's just, let's get the story of whatever was being narrated. They give you the isnad, you have to go find it. You go, that's for student knowledge. But for someone to go through the early sources and to give you what's the best out of what we have, even though there are certain parts in this that aren't authentic, but he says that I only give you something if there's nothing that's there and if it has no implication in ahkam. And he gives you like any
pretty
rulings.
much sources everything, doesn't he?
He sources that's what's
like the Al-Umari.
His sourcing is hectic. But this book here in English, other than the Salabi one, which is 3 volumes, I think this is better than the Salabi one, because Salabi has other issues. The 3-volume Noble Life of the Prophet ﷺ. And I think the detail in this is better than Sealed Nectar. right? It's better than, it's more detailed than the Sealed Nectar, and the translation it's not bad. It's an okay translation. And even in Arabic, if someone wants to read this, it's called As-Sira Nabawiyya. في ضوء المصادر الأصلية. That's what it's called in Arabic, in 2 volumes also. That book is in Arabic, in English, whatever it is, it's a gem. It's a gem. This book here. Book. And as a reference point, if someone wants to teach the Sira, they can kind of use this and be like, okay,
it's a must-have for a Sira student.
I reckon.
Maybe not to begin with, but as you're continuing along.
I reckon even to begin with, if you really, like, it just depends what type of reader you are.
I'm saying someone from scratch.
Someone from scratch, I reckon.
We're gonna have to do that.
Like different fields and different
things.
As
you know, you can find a lot in fiqh online, tadarruj, you know, in taking fiqh, but you don't really find it in Sira.
Do you want to go through it right now? It's pretty easy.
We have to review them, but we can give it a general.
I can give you a general. Like,
all right, you know what? Let's have a bit of a discussion here.
You know this very well.
What's the first book that you would recommend for someone who has no background?
In English, I go for Nadawi's. I say read this as a very wait. 2 steps back. There's 2 types of readers. There's one person who doesn't like to read but just wants to Sira, just wants like a very basic level, and doesn't want to, like, I don't want volumes, habibi, I don't want 300 pages, just give me what I need to know and let me be out of here. For that person, I'll say go for Nadawi's Life of the Prophet. Don't worry about Nadawi as a person, don't worry about anything. I'm saying the book itself is very good. It's a very good, straight to the point. I think nothing of the Sira goes over 1.5 pages, which is really good. It's straight to the point, like nice. It's a very good presentable.
It's basically giving you an overview or timeline, basically.
Exactly. And so you can use that as a very basic thing. If someone wants to do it as the same thing, Moon Split. If someone is more bothered to read.
When the Moon Split, Mubarak Furi,
rahmatullah. Yeah, Safir Rahman Mubarak Furi, rahmatullah alayhi.
The author of the Sealed Nectar.
Sealed Nectar. So it's a summary of it, kind of, but there are extra additions and stuff. It's Rawdat al-Anwar in Arabic. The Moon Split, it does the same thing. And then the new one that we got, but it's sold out at the moment, The Life of the Messenger by Darus Salam UK.
Yes, that's pretty good.
That one is also a very good starting point to start off with.
Very good.
So these 3, in the sense where the Nadawi one, Life of the Messenger, Moon Split, and The Life of the Messenger published by Darus Salam, these 3, for me, I think it gives you the best timeline. Just a very basic. It's like, think of it as like watching Risala or like the Umar Silsila or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it gives you a timeline, but it's not necessarily the best thing there. There's always going to be some issues in there. There's always going to be some problems in there. There's always going to be something. That, I think, is the best thing. What do you recommend usually?
Pretty much exactly. But the only thing I would change, if they're going to continue reading, like they're going to come back, I would give exactly the same order you gave. If they just want to get one book and go and have
which one would it be out of the 3?
The Moon Split.
When the Moon Split?
Yes, especially with the new illustrations, the lessons and benefits, and the questions
and the questions
of each chapter.
Yeah. That I
But if they just want one that they want to keep and they're not a student of knowledge and they just want have one in the library, I would get the newer edition of
the Life of the Messenger. Oh, the new serious. Yeah. Okay, so that would be. So what I say is go through Moon Split and then go through Sealed Nectar.
Yes, 100%.
That is like the steps. Because like, for instance, if something, so like for instance, the pre-Islamic period in the Moon Split, in the Sealed Nectar is like 50 pages, in the Moon Split it's 13.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like a big difference. It's a very big chunk that's not there. So it just depends on the level of things. So I reckon Sealed Nectar is intermediate.
Yeah.
I reckon Sealed Nectar would be intermediate.
So, especially if you know that brother or sister may not go back and visit the bookstore or just wants one book.
Yeah.
You know, I always, like, if it's just one book, and I know
reference forever for the rest of
they're
life.
keen readers and they will read it, but they're not going to collect Sira books like we do.
Yeah.
I would tell them, just get the Sealed Nectar.
And you're fine.
Yeah. Because he does the job for you, and it's one of the most popular books of our time in Sira.
So I reckon that's the first step and the second step. Then the third step I always say is this one here.
Yep.
But if someone is an avid reader, I'm saying that you can kind of sack the first 2 if you're a good reader. Do you know what I mean?
Sack meaning just go to them straight away.
Yeah, just skip the queue. Skip the queue. By going, if you're a good reader, if you just like, okay, I've read Aqidah, I've read Tafsir, I've read, right, and I haven't done Sira. Right. I think if you're a good reader, because this isn't a hard book to go through.
Yeah.
It's not, and it goes through a good chronological order as well. I think this is a solid book to start off with.
100%.
If someone was like a good reader, but if you're struggling to read and you need to build the muscle, because again, reading is a muscle. The longer you read, the easier it becomes. That's how the Mashayikh always told us. Like, think about like a bicep, and then the more you do, the more weight you can hold on to.
And the general advice, as you gave, is to start off with the small works
100%.
before you work your way
100%.
up. That's why another work would be properly ideal.
Yeah, because a page and a half for every point in the seerah, you can't go wrong. Okay, and then so that's the third step, this one here. And then I'd say Salabi is the fourth step, the 3-volume Noble Life of the Messenger.
The only criticism I have, he gathers more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into the other stuff that you want to discuss.
Yeah,
Is the English is not the best. I don't like the
have you
English
seen
translation.
because
Dar es Salaam
yeah.
Sirah translation.
Yeah,
I'm talking
the
about
IPH.
the 3
They haven't done it.
No, they haven't. They've done the
Yeah,
Khulafa.
Yeah.
There's a bit of competition happening. That's another issue
Yeah,
we'll speak
that's a
about
whole other
later.
thing. I swear, if they just put their money in doing other things that no one else has done, then we have more titles from everywhere instead of doing the same thing. Just burn
You
it.
find some titles which are popular. There's like a
But it's
competition
not
to
needed,
put it
it's
first
not-
in the
it's not
store
needed.
or in the
It's not-
marketplace.
Like, we have to think as a ummah, as a community, as what's needed in the community. Like, had one focused on like just let's pump out Shaykh al-Islam's books, Ibn al-Qayyim's books, and the other one's like, all right, let's take on the history and let's take on. Everyone would have. Just don't get me started on that one. So that's third step. That one and Salabi one. Okay, Salabi's one translation not that great. I'll take that. But again,
it's not poor. But
Yeah.
I'm saying like
it could be better.
It could be better.
It
Yeah.
could be better. And then the fourth one, the fourth level, and this is how you know you've made it, is the Sirah of Ibn Kathir, 4-volume. Do you remember that one? The black one?
The one they released in English,
The one that they released in
but
English.
never printed again.
I think there's a new print that's coming out soon again.
But that was translated by
Guardian.
some professor.
Some professor. I don't even know. I don't know what's going on with that one.
Mm.
They have a lot of Sufi titles as well for some reason. But that print, and it's basically Ibn Kathir Sirah. Not many people know this. The actual Sirah Nabawiyya that's printed under Ibn Kathir's name has actually been taken out of Bidayah wa Nihaya. It's actually from Bidayah wa Nihaya. So, but it is amazing. It is amazing. That's something that my dad told me recently. I don't know this stuff from he told me.
He does have a single volume in Sirah as well.
That's from Thing. That's from Bidayah wa Nihaya apparently.
And he's got another brief one. I forget its title. Can anyone remind us? Is it Al-Fusul?
Okay, so no. If something
No,
like I'm
it's
saying
something
the one
else?
that's printed under As-Sirah Nabawiyya li Ibn Kathir. That one there has been taken from Bidayah wa Nihaya. Like similar to Tibb al-Nabawi, Ibn al-Qayyim, it's actually from Zad al-Ma'ad.
Naam.
Right, so these types of books, like they're taken from bigger chunks and they presented, and there's like, a new
But
book.
I'm pretty sure he's got an individual title.
I wouldn't be surprised if he
for
would.
The one that Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr, Hafidhullah, I think taught.
So there is a matan that he has. I'm not sure of the name, but I think you're right. Yeah, but there's.
We'll get its name, inshallah.
Yeah, that's something
and
that.
we'll mention it next time.
But that's the 4 steps of Sirah, I reckon, in English. In Arabic, now
Another world.
that's a whole nother thing. But it's pretty similar. Rawdat al-Anwar, Moon Split, Rahiq al-Makhtoum, if you can go through it, and then Sirah Nabawiyya, this one here, في ضوء المصادر الأصلية, Mehdi Rizqullah, who's apparently a Sudani professor. Never knew that. And then after that, Lu'lu al-Maknoon, which is not normal as a book.
That's a recent book as well, yeah?
That's a 4-volumer. And I think Sheikh Khalid went through completely.
That's right, yeah.
Hafidhullah tabaraka wa ta'ala.
Ameen.
And I think then Sirah Nabawiyya of Ibn Kathir, like from Bidayah wa Nihaya. I think like those ones like that, you're gonna have a very good foothold in Sirah if you can go through that, and especially the Lu'lu al-Maknoon is such a nice read.
Excellent.
It's such a nice read. He's got another book called.
He's doing this the Khulafa. Isn't
Finished
he?
it.
Finished.
Finished it. Yeah, I got him in the shop. It's good, and his Sirat Abi Turab of Ali radiallahu anh is probably the best translation, the best biography of Ali radiallahu in Arabic. I don't think I've seen anything like it. Like it compared to the Salabi one. Unbelievable. Such a beautiful read. Because the way that he does it is through mabahith. So it's like Ali radiallahu anh with Aisha. What's the relationship like? So go through like really interesting stuff. It's a beautiful read. It's a beautiful read.
Alhamdulillah. As it was a beautiful podcast today, beautiful episode today, I would like to thank you. Jazakallah khairan. I would like to thank all our brothers and sisters who tuned in. Please subscribe to the AlBayan Radio Australia YouTube channel for more videos, daily live programs bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. And until next time, barakallahu fikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.